guys, today I'm going to be doing a throwback video and looking at my July and August favorites from 2014 and then looking at if they're still favorites today. So I'm going to start with a couple of Tarte products that I mentioned in my last video. The first one was a limited edition palette, which is a really cool palette that I don't get nearly enough use out of. This is the Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette. So in this palette there are 6 eyeshadows, a highlighter, a bronzer, a highlighter, a bronzer, and a blush, all of which are very, very pretty. And I really like this palette, but as I'm looking at it, I barely have used it. They're really pretty colors, but I need to definitely get more use out of it. It's a great travel type palette because it's got the blush and the highlighter and the bronzer and eyeshadows all in one. But I have been so focused on using up my Lorac Pro palette that I have barely touched this one since probably August, September. I don't know. I have not used it. This blush color is really, really pretty, but I just have not gotten nearly enough use out of this. And it really is a great palette. I just haven't been reaching for it because I've been going for other things. But this is definitely one I would recommend for people that travel a lot because it's awesome and you can kind of cut down on the products that you need to bring with you. And I know they've had other ones out since this one for sure, but this one I still really like. I just haven't gotten enough use out of it. I also mentioned 2 blushes in that video, and those are still blushes that I absolutely love. The first one is the Tarte Dollface blush, and this is just like a natural pink blush. And the other one was the Tarte Expose blush, which is more of like a nude type color. So both of these blushes I absolutely love. They've been in my most used blush drawers for quite a while. I need to put Dollface back in it because I've kind of been putting it off. But I love both of these blushes. They wear for quite a while. They're really nice blushes. They are very pigmented and they're great. I haven't been reaching for either of these because I've been trying to go through my NARS Orgasm blush more recently, but they're both really good ones. The next thing I actually don't have anymore because I used up, and that was the Milani Shadow Eyes pencil in Champagne Toast that I had in some Project Pan type things this past year, and I used it up, but it was a phenomenal eye base. That is definitely one that I would go buy more of once I'm through some of the other ones that I've got. I've got a ton of like the NYX ones and a bunch of the like color tattoos and stuff like that, so I definitely don't need any more eye bases anymore, but that one was super pigmented. My shadows never creased when I wore it. It was fantastic, so I would definitely buy more of those, and that particular color was great. It was very, very pigmented, and it was just a pretty color, so that one was amazing. I'm kind of sad I used it up because it was really good. A couple of more eyeshadow combos that I mentioned that I got the J.Cat Beauty Flying Solo eyeshadow in Half Naked, which is like a shimmery peachy color. And this I really, really liked for a while, and I haven't reached for it in quite a while now, so I can't say that it's still a favorite necessarily because I've barely reached for it in quite a while, but it is a really pretty color. It's a very natural color. I would say that as I'm using up my Lorac Pro palette, that this is one that I will probably reach for to mix in with it pretty soon here. I wonder if I wore that one over gold, if that would make gold more wearable. But this is just not one that I've reached for since I kind of moved away from it because I've been so focused on my other eyeshadows that I've barely reached for it. But it is a really pretty one. It is a little bit powdery until you really blend it in, but it was pretty good. I got it from an Ipsy bag and I liked it. So that one I might have to play with layering with some of my Lorac shadows and see how that goes. And then in that video I also mentioned that I had been really enjoying from the Lorac Pro 2 palette this Nectar color here and this cool gray color. And I had been wearing those in that particular video, which I will link here and down below. But those colors are super, super pretty. I miss this palette. I'm so excited to get back to other palettes once I finish my Lorac Pro. I'm sick of panning that palette. These colors are so pretty. And I might start mixing some of these in pretty soon because my Lorac Pro is kind of starting to lose some of the lighter colors that I would need to mix and make it look more wearable. I think I might actually like this palette better than my Lorac palette, the first one that I've been panning. I think this one just seems overall more wearable to me, and it seems fun. I'm excited to get back to this. So I haven't worn it that much this year, obviously, and I got it like last August, I think, but it is a really, really pretty eyeshadow palette. I'm so excited to get back to it. A couple of the things that I mentioned here are gone now, so I'm going to mention, I mentioned the NYX Slide On Glide On Eye Pencil in Jewel, which was one of my everyday eyeliners for quite a while there. I wore it on my lower lash line a lot as my like school wearable look, and it was just a pretty burgundy type color, jewel tone color, and I definitely miss having that in my life. I think it wears a lot better than the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencils. I just tend to get those because they have them in sets and I can't resist them. But I would definitely say that their wear time is a lot better than the Urban Decay ones. So if you are interested in something like that, I would definitely check it out. At some point I want to go back and buy that particular color again because I really, really liked it. I thought it looked really nice. And I miss it in my life, so that one I would definitely recommend still. Something that I actually had on today was the BareMinerals Well Rested Concealer. This is supposed to be an under eye powder, but I never used it that way. I mentioned in the video that it looked too cakey under my eyes when I used it that way, so Carissa Anderson, I think it was, she back a while ago recommended using this as a concealer. So when I have really red breakouts, I put this on top of it and then put my powder over that, and so that it doesn't seem like it's highlighted necessarily, but it conceals really well any blemishes that I have. So I still use that trick sometimes when I'm struggling with my blemishes peeking through. I top it with this and it helps a lot. Something that's actually getting ready to go in my empties right now is my Softlips Cube in Pomegranate Blueberry, which smells really good and it tastes really good and it feels nice to start with. But one thing that I've realized about these are that they're not as moisturizing as I would like them to be. The moisture tends to be like, I will get ready for bed and I'll put it on before I go to bed, and by the time, you know, in the few minutes that I actually make it to bed, I feel like it's already all gone, or I'll put it on before I get ready to do my makeup and I have to put on another chapstick because it's too gone. And so this is originally like in a, like it's rounded up kind of like the EOS ones, but it's tapering off now and it's almost flat and getting hard to use. And there's still product down here, but I'm not going to try to push myself to use that all up. Once it's mostly flat, I'm going to be done with it. So this one I don't love anymore. Honestly, I mentioned that I wanted to pick up more in that video, but I don't think I'll buy any more of these just because I don't feel like they're moisturizing enough. There's definitely better ones out there. I don't know that the EOS ones are that much more moisturizing necessarily, but this one isn't necessarily a winner. I do not have it anymore, and that video was actually already gone, but I mentioned the Perlier body cream in vanilla and blackberry, which I apparently really, really liked. Right now, as I'm thinking back on it, I don't remember it, but my new favorite body butter that's replaced that in my mind, I guess, has been the Soap & Glory Righteous Body Butter, which is an amazing one. It sinks in really quickly, it's very moisturizing, it smells really good. I really, really like those body butters, so I guess my love for that has probably consumed that particular body butter. I really can't remember that one all that much. Like, I remember the packaging after I watched the video, but I can't remember it, so obviously it wasn't that amazing enough that it's stuck in my mind, I guess. And then I mentioned a couple of different things. I mentioned some pop culture things, one of which was RuPaul's Drag Race, which obviously I still love. I mentioned that a couple of favorites videos back. I still love season 6. Like, I went back and watched that a couple times because it's just my favorite season. Season 7 was not as good, but season 6 was really good. I recommend that one. I mentioned Better Off Ted, which was a good series. It was only 2 seasons long. But the first season was definitely a lot stronger than the second one. The second one started to go downhill a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't know. That was kind of a rough favorites month because, like, as I'm looking back at it, a lot of that stuff is not necessarily a favorite anymore. It's stuff that rarely gets used. But part of that is a lot of it was eyeshadow combos, and I don't really wear anything but my Lorac Pro 4. I haven't worn anything but that for the last year or so, almost a year. 8 months, 9 months. So yeah, that is it. I would love to know if you guys had any feelings about any of the products that I mentioned, if there are any reflections that you have on it, if you bought them a while ago and you're looking back on it now and how you feel about it now. I'd love to hear that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.